It's a bit chaos here this morning.
That's all right. That's all right.
They're knocking down bits of the kitchen, which is right below where I'm sitting. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's stick that in there.
Right.
And I might actually have it.
Nice.
We are? You think so?
Right, I'm done. I'm ready.
No, you're here. It's okay.
Excuse me, coughing. I've got the tail end as well. So.
Got a cold or something?
Yeah, I've had a cold cough thing. Nothing sinister, just one of the boring regular cough things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That time of the year, isn't it?
Well, it is. And yeah, that's a good idea. Sip of the coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee. I've got tea today, a cup of hot tea.
Tea? What, ordinary tea?
Yes. Well, my husband makes cups of tea a couple of times a day, so that's what he makes me, and I've kind of got used to drinking it. I don't really like it, but it's hot, so I'm wet.
No, as you know, that's my sort of put a bit of light on here. My sort of addiction is tea, but I'm on coffee this morning, or I was. I just sort of finished it. So, how are you? How are things? Yeah. Hectic.
Chaos is probably the best way to describe it, but it's all good. It is all good. It's all getting done. It's all moving forward. So,
I saw you'd done a bit of baking.
Oh, that was my daughter.
Ah, okay.
I don't have a kitchen.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, no, I don't have a kitchen at the moment.
Yeah. So I was sort of thinking, that's very good. How did she do that? Where did she do that?
It's magic.
Well, no, I was going to say.
A kitchen has a sink, and that's it at the minute.
I suppose that's something. Yeah. So it's sort of living on takeaways at the moment, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
It's surprising how boring takeaways get, actually.
I was just thinking that. If you have a takeaway every now and again, it's sort of
treat,
nice,
isn't it? Yeah.
And then when it's like, oh God, it's takeaway again.
Yeah.
And it's curry, or it's pizza, or it's what,
We're very lucky to have two cafe places local to us that do what I call proper food. They do really nice sandwiches, but they do homemade stuff, chilies and lasagnas and, pies and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So we can actually have, everyday food.
Oh, that's good. That's something. Something bloody awful. I mean, if you sort of, it's worse than being in a hotel. So it reminds me back to student days, when you got a bedsit that you shared with somebody. And
I do feel a bit like a student, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I did that. I've ticked the box. I've got the T-shirt. I don't want to know anymore.
But I think we were as prepared as we could be, and we are fairly organised. And they are going. The builders have been brilliant. They are cracking on at a rate of knots. So
that's good.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
There's so much sort of basic work to do, though. Like pipes and walls and cupboards and knocking things down and holes and filling them in. Yeah, and that takes forever. And then when they actually get around to like putting the cupboards up or something, it sort of goes. Well, hopefully
it's the dust. It's the amount of dust that covers everything. It is. Well.
I have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sort of go. But I hoovered that this afternoon. It's 7:00 in the evening, and look at it.
I made the decision that I wasn't going to do any housework till it's all finished because it's pointless.
It is. I mean, unless you find yourself, wading knee deep in it.
Yes. Can't actually see any furniture. Yeah.
No, I know. Oh, so how's it been going otherwise? I mean, the rest of the work.
The interesting, or the challenge for me, I think, is the lack of altar. I don't have any altar. I've gone from 7, I think, in various places to nothing because it's all been packed away, and there's no room to put one up.
No.
All of my magical tools are all packed. I'm looking at them now. They're over the other side of the room behind a whole stack of boxes, so I can't get to those. All my herbs, they're all behind here. I can just reach some of the crystals if I move some boxes, but I have nothing. And it's been an interesting challenge. So we're starting week 4 now of this. So it has been a real challenge. I left one. I had a wall hanging made for the goddess Sulis, made by Naomi, and it is beautiful, and it's really powerful image. It's quite big. That's hanging on the back of my bedroom door, and that is my focal point. Right. Other than that, I have nothing. And I think it is. Several people suggested to me, "Oh, get yourself a little travel altar or something." And I thought, no, I think this is part of the challenge. I think it's teaching me what I already knew, that you don't need tools and you don't need crystals and you don't need all of this stuff. But I am missing that focal point for sort of daily devotions and things. So it is a bit of a challenge to keep that connection, particularly as the garden is being used as a building site as well at the moment. So that would be my normal daily connection, would be stepping into the garden. So it's challenging, definitely.
I think that's really interesting too. I mean, like you, and it's one of the things I teach as it is you, is sort of like, you can do this without any of the paraphernalia. And really, you need to learn to do that. So that there you are, stuck. I mean, happened to me once. There was a car crash in front of me, and the person was a bit of a mess in the driving seat. And I know a bit of first aid, but I knew enough not to touch, kind of thing. But immediately it was like, right, you need to hold this situation, hold the energy. And I had nothing.
No.
You know, well, I might have had something in my pocket, but I don't know. I don't remember anything. And it was like, no, you've got to do this. And it was sort of immediately like pull on to my real connection, like a sun to the planet and to the sun. And said, right, come on, guys, help. What do I do? What do I need to do? And it all worked out, and the person regained consciousness before the ambulance came, which was good.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
Because that's what I was sort of worried about. And their breathing wasn't that hot either. So they'd sort of been really whacked in the chest. It was before we had balloons.
Oh, the airbags.
Absolutely, yeah. So they'd whacked into the steering wheel, you know. But it was really sort of really challenging to be, you know, in an accident.
Yeah, I bet. Well, challenging anyway to deal with that kind of situation.
Yeah, but knowing that, you know, you actually have the tools or the connections inside, work them to help this person. And so, you know, it's but that was different in a way, because that was like for what, half an hour, and yours has been going on for 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're just entering the 4th week now, so yeah.
So I think that's different. I mean, the challenge of an hour is sort of like something, but the challenge of, I've got to live with this until midwinter.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, so that's pretty well through 2 seasons. And you've got Samhain coming up, which is a big one again. And so like, whoa, you know, hang on, I need to reorganize the whole head on this kind of thing.
I think it has been a bit of a test, because like you say, we both teach it, we both talk about it, that you don't need all of this stuff. But I think it's actually, you've talked about it, now do it.
Yeah. Okay, walk your talk, woman, you know.
Yes.
Don't sit there blathering on Zooms
Yeah.
and
But we
things, you
do
know.
get quite reliant, don't we, on all of these bits and bobs, the
It's easy to do,
paraphernalia, and
isn't
even
it?
stuff that you don't think about, like a drum, which I don't think of really as
But it
paraphernalia
is.
or things.
But it
It's
is. Mm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been but yeah, I'm doing all right. It's just wrapping your head around it, and it's
That's the
that
thing.
connection. That's the important thing, is that
Yeah.
connection and finding a way, and thinking actually the connection isn't through all of these tools. It isn't
No.
through a wand or a chalice or even an altar.
Mm.
That connection's there anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like to remind yourself of that, because the things that we've got, as you say, they're a focal point.
Mm.
And I haven't got focus, you know,
Yeah.
kind of feeling. And
When you're
that
living in chaos anyway, your energy's a bit scattered.
and your house's energy, your house
Mm.
spirit's energy is all
Yeah.
like sort of,
Yeah.
well, I know I agreed to this, but shit.
Yes. Whoa, what's going on?
You know, I mean, if your house spirit's got the slightest sort of, you know, intelligence, she's probably taken off to South America and is playing with Pachamama or something. You know?
Give me a ring when it's all
Oh,
done.
yes, I'll come back when it's done. You know?
We also kind of designed it so that we literally cleared out the ground floor completely, so that the builders could crack on and do whatever they needed to do in whatever room, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms affected. So rather than them start on one and us still live in one of the other ones, we just cleared the whole lot out so that they could crack on, which has proved to be the best way from their point of view of getting on. But it is pretty much half the house is under attack.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, how long have you lived there?
27 years.
So, you know, I mean, that's one hell of a shock.
Yeah. And all we've ever done before is painted. We've never done anything like this before. So it's a shock to everyone, the house and us.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's, you know, it's got a good feel to it. We're actually dealing with it quite well, I think. I haven't run away screaming yet.
Yeah. No, and it is difficult. It's something I think people don't altogether realize, that, you know, you are disturbing a lot of energy that was quite settled.
Yeah.
And settled energy tends to sort of like to stay settled, a bit like humans. But on the other hand, that may not always be the best thing.
I mean, even the garden, they've had to dig really deep foundations. Didn't find anything interesting. No dead bodies or anything.
No time team stuff.
No time team stuff, no.
We'll see you there with the LiDAR and the ground penetrating radar and all that kind of thing.
No. I mean, the house
I got a thing.
The house was built in 1920, so I wasn't expecting to find anything very exciting. But there have been dwellings on the land for, you know, hundreds of years before then. But no, nothing interesting.
But I wonder what's happening to that old energy, because must have been asleep under the house foundations, you know, at least since the 20s.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Because I mean, although we've dug the garden, we've never gone down that deep before.
Get down maybe 1 or 2, you know, spits of a spade.
Not quite that deep.
And sort of the land's used to things like that, or not too bad, you know, that's okay. But, you know, they must have gone down feet.
Yeah.
They have to.
My husband stood in the hole, and he's 6'4", and half of him had disappeared.
So that's over a meter.
Yeah. That's quite deep.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. And that's sort of hitting into, because I mean, they'll have been bringing up subsoil from there.
It was a very, very poignant reminder that our garden is clay. It was solid. The sides where they dug the foundations were literally sheer, shiny walls where it
Yeah.
was solid clay, and
Yeah.
they were digging out chunks.
Yeah.
It wasn't loose soil. None of it was loose soil. It was all solid clay, which is probably better for them, really. But
it is, and it's not too bad for you, you know, for getting foundations in.
mm,
You know, it's not like building on sand or something.
no,
So yeah, and wow,
we
and yeah.
we did have they had to take down a chimney breast in one of the rooms, and what was left on the wall afterwards from the soot of the fireplace was shaped just like a witch's hat.
Oh, did you
My
photograph it?
Right, yeah, I have. It's on my Facebook page. My husband came and he said, "You'll never believe what this looks like," and it did. The black soot
Yeah.
shape, and it looked just like a witch's hat.
Wow. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's definitely a learning curve for me. Learning, or yeah, finding ways to connect and maintain that connection without any paraphernalia.
Yeah. How are you managing them for the Fridays?
I'm sitting in my broom cupboard. I call this my broom cupboard. It's not. It's a spare room, but yeah, microwave, fridge, boxes of food, boxes up to the ceiling. I'm having to. Yeah, I've done a couple now where I've just picked a theme that doesn't require any stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
there isn't anything.
Because I mean, that's another sort of test in that way. Because I mean, you know, you've got that working, and it was really good. And you know, we can work with these cards, we can work with these incenses, we can work
Yeah,
with
I quite
spell.
often used a lot of stuff. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and now you have to work a spell with nothing.
Yeah,
which
but
is like, whoa.
Don't you think though we go round in a circle with that? When we first start, we work simple spells, candle spells, herb spells, whatever. And then as we get more adept, we add things into it, the moon phases, the planetary phases, the astrological stuff, and we add layers into the spells. But I think you get to a point where you think, actually, I don't need all that stuff.
Exactly.
And you go back to the beginning and you go simple again, and you just work with a candle. And I think this is, again, it's about you don't need all that stuff. I think you do. I think it's interesting to work through it.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is good to work with stuff, you know, to learn about it all. But then you come back full circle and you think, actually, I don't need all that stuff. I can just stand outside and look at the moon and tell her what I need.
Yeah, yeah. And or you know, I was this full moon's been quite something to me again. It's doing it again like it did last time.
Yeah.
And I've got sort of things like I've started various things. I'm doing various things, and sort of I'm there sort of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? And I've been I went out because we've got our new waterfall going now.
Yes.
And, which is absolutely fantastic. And so I've been going out and sitting there, and the cat's been coming with me. She's absolutely loving it. She just sits, got these great big Adirondack chairs, which are really comfy. So I'm sitting in that, and it's got a wide arm. So she's sat on the arm, and we're both sort of there. So like, okay, am I doing this right? You know, is there anything I've forgotten? Is there anything that I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, etc.? And I've been doing an awful lot of that recently. And of course that, you know, you haven't got any spell stuff with you.
No.
And you couldn't really know about it. Well, you might. But no, one time I did, because one time I had to take that piece of chalk that Will Lord gave me had to come out. Because he sort of said you had to carve a goddess out of that, and haven't started yet. And so
out of chalk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That is a lovely medium to work with.
Well, it should be. I've never done it, but it should
I
be.
haven't. It just strikes me that that's a fantastic piece to work with.
Yeah. This side seems to be like going to be the front side. And I might have got it wrong way up. It might be that way, or it might be that way. And I'm still talking to it. Anyway, so like it had to come out and be talked to. and are you part of this? And it sort of said yes. And it's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm part of this. You've got to.
Have you got to carve it with your flint?
No, because I haven't got a good enough flint for that.
Right.
I think it's going to be metal stuff that's carved, but I don't know because yeah, I'm all sort of embarrassed and twiddly.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Well, yes.
This just proves to people that we never have a script. We just go with the flow.
Absolutely. I think I need to share screen. I'm going to go and try and share screen. It'll help. It might calm me down. You never know. Don't hold your breath, guys. It might sort of work.
I've never worked with chalk. It sounds like it ought to be quite a soft stone, but I bet it isn't.
Well, I don't know. I think it should be as well, but I don't know whether it is.
I think in my head, I'm thinking like the piece of chalk that you write on a blackboard with, but that's hard.
Oh no, this is tough
that,
stuff,
isn't it?
Yeah, this is tough stuff. Right.
I love the idea of creating a goddess from it, though. That sounds perfect.
Well, that's what he said, and he's quite a magician, which I will tell you about. Right, okay. So this is
he's the chap that you did the retreat with, wasn't it?
Retreat. It wasn't a retreat, dear. It was a full-on hard bloody work course.
For want of a better word.
Why are you sharing? Am I sharing?
In the wilds. Oh yes, sorry, that's me not pressing a button. See, we're all over the place today. There you go. Oh, look at that.
Well, yes. That's obsidian.
Quite impressive.
The blade is obsidian, which I told you about the other day. The handle is antler, and when we on the last couple of days, I was sort of saying, "You got to make me a knife to Will." So he said, "Oh yeah, what do you want?" And so I said, "Well, I want obsidian and I want an antler handle." And this is a one-off piece. He makes it all himself, the whole jolly boarding. So I sort of said, tell me roughly how much so I can start saving for it. Because, I mean, that could be worth 400 quid. Because there isn't another one like that.
No, and you materials, but the time as well.
Well, it's the whole thing. And obsidian is not one of the cheapest materials because you've got to get it from abroad. And so anyway, so I said, I'll sort that. Don't worry, I'll let you know. I'll talk to you about that. And so this Saturday, there's a group of us who sort of like part of a private Facebook group kind of thing, and he does extra things with us, and we have Zooms together and all this kind of thing. So Saturday night we're having a Zoom, and he said, I've got a quiz for you all, which was totally hysterical. And it turned out in the end that he'd asked questions, and then if he didn't know the answer, which sort of 70% of the questions he asked he didn't, he went and looked up the answer on Google and that kind of thing. And which is absolutely great. I mean, some of them he did. He's sort of like, what do you add to copper to make brass? Which is a tricky question because everybody's going to say tin, and no, that's how you make bronze.
Right.
The one I happen to know.
I didn't know the answer to that.
No, the answer is zinc, actually. But don't worry about it. But it's a different substance to bronze. So anyway, there were some really sort of intelligent ones like that. And there were lots of like fun ones, and some that were a bit rude, but that was fine because we were all in a private group, so that was okay. And I won. I was totally gobsmacked because I never thought I'd win anything like that. All these guys are much more intelligent than me. They'll get the answers. They'll know the things that Will's referring to and all this sort of thing. Anyway, I won.
They're more intelligent than you, Ellen. I've got no hope.
Well, I don't know what they're doing. They've been working this shit for years and all that sort of thing. So they've got all the right sort of answers for all the wilderness shit that he was putting out. Anyway, that I think is my prize.
Oh, excellent. Oh, meant to
Yeah,
be then, isn't it? Meant to be.
it's sort of like,
Absolutely.
uh, uh, you know, and no, it was Ellen's one then, you know, says Maudie's girlfriend. And it's always Ellen, is it right? Fine, you know. So there were a couple of teasing things, and it's like got 17 right or something. So one of the blokes who's a great laugh said, "Oh, I got 18." I said, "Oh, that's all right." Then he said, "No, I haven't really." And all this kind of shit was going on. I was just like gobsmacked. And I think because he showed it to us, and he said, "Oh, I was messing about because he's been very busy. I've been messing about. I had a bit of time for myself, so I've made this knife." And I think that's the one.
Right.
And I'm sort of like, "You're a fucking magician, man." Excuse my French. I wasn't saying it to him, but I was thinking it because I'd asked for this. I'd asked him how much, and he'd said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll let you know." Then he sets up this quiz, and this is the prize.
And you won it. It meant to be.
And it's sort of like, what? Because I know he does work like this. It's sort of like, what were you working on? What were you doing? You know, kind of thing. But of course, that's going to be another bit of my paraphernalia as well. I mean, it's completely useful because this blade is incredibly sharp.
I was just going to ask what you'd use it for. I would imagine it's sharp. Is it strong, the obsidian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like flint.
Okay. Okay.
It's I mean, it's not like flint, it's volcanic glass, but I mean
But
the way it's structured is it can be brittle, but he's shaped it so well that it won't be. It'll be fine. But you use it for all sorts of things. You'd use a knife for. He's making me a scabbard for it as well. Thank the gods.
It
Or I
does.
should have a post, or it'll come through the paper on the post, and the postman will slice himself with it. So funny sorts of things happen, and funny sorts of things become your paraphernalia. I mean, it's not going to be like an athame. It's going to be a using working knife as well.
I must admit, I have a couple of athames, but I've never used them. Never used them at all.
I've used them in ceremony. And shall we stop sharing? I think everybody's got my knife by now.
It is quite impressive.
It is. But it was the getting of it that was sort of like...
it was all planned. It was all meant to be.
Well, yeah, but I don't care how long you've been working this stuff.
Oh, yeah, no.
When it actually happens to you, it's sort of like... And I'm there sort of pinching myself.
Shouldn't it? Like you say, no matter how long you've been doing this stuff, it should still make you feel wow when something like that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it really is awesome in a real sense. So you go, shit, did that really happen? You know.
You did deserve a reward though, because your guides have had you doing all sorts of things this year, haven't they?
They still are.
Still going.
I mean, you've got chaos in one sort of sense, and I've got chaos in another sort of sense. And so it's like, you know, I'm not sure what I'm doing and all that sort of thing. And you'd find thinking that this is going to change bits of your work as well, your chaos.
I think it is. We talked last time, didn't we, about where we'd been, and I'd been to Bath. Sulis is definitely, she's going to be with me for a long time, and she's going to be very, very primary to me. Yeah. So I think that's going to change the way that I work anyway. But there's definitely changes afoot. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, my pathway had already been changing towards, and again we've spoken about it, the ancient British goddesses rather than outside of Britain. So I am looking forward to it, to getting back. I want to say back to normal, but we don't really have a normal, do we?
I mean, but normal today is not even the same as normal yesterday. No, it doesn't. But I was thinking that, you know, maybe this is a big like work change thing happening for you as well, because
and I think
sometimes
that kind of, again, like we've both been on this journey for a long time, haven't we? And I think that kind of just proves that even this far down the line, your journey can still go off at different tangents and take you in different directions. It's never a straight line, is it?
well, they call it the crooked path.
Oh, good.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's definitely done that right from the beginning.
Sort of general, I think I've got a few knots in mine as well, where it's sort of got tangled. But no, it never stops.
But you learn from it all too, don't you? And I don't think you ever stop learning. No, you never stop learning, and that's part of what makes it interesting too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see where it takes me. She says bravely.
I was thinking, you know, when your house spirit sort of like goes, oof, you know, in the new year when it's sort of settled, and what's she gonna say to you? You know, she's gonna say, right, come on, wait, if you could do this, you could show people about that or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it is that kind of feeling that you know, there's lots of stuff, and they're kind of stacking it up. Right, we'll save this, and in January we'll go, right, do that, and I can feel it all stacking up. Don't tell me now,
exactly.
I can't deal with it, but yeah, you can deal with it all stacking up.
It is very, 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 very much that, you know.
Keeps me out of trouble or something like that.
I don't know. It might gets me into trouble as much as anything else. But it's a funny old thing that happens, and so yeah, everybody embrace change, really. And actually, it's just, well, one of my students was saying it to me yesterday. As that old T.S. Eliot, my favorite poet, T.S. Eliot, phrase in one of his poems is, "Humankind cannot bear very much reality." And that is whoa, that's bloody true.
Sure. Yeah.
It is. And the students were talking about it yesterday because it was very relevant on, you know, on their meeting. And but of course, everything they say always comes back as being relevant for me too. I may not be at all appropriate to share it with them because it's their thing, you know, they don't want to hear about me. But I was going, oh, right, okay, what reality am I not seeing, accepting, bearing, you know, because there's bound to be a bit there and it'll be important. And I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure it'll come crashing down on my head soon.
It will make itself known quite loudly.
Here's your bricks, plonk.
Oh no, I've got plenty of bricks.
No, thank you. You keep them. I have no need of more bricks.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I always have accepted that change happens, and it's a good thing. And you know, I've always been quite okay if the devil card came out in a tarot reading, or even the death card, or you know, or even the tower kind of things. But yeah,
all of which can actually have very good results.
Yeah, I've always kind of taken it that change happens, doesn't it? Whether you like it or not, it happens. So
I can hear it roughly in the background. Yeah.
Yes. It's very bizarre.
What are you doing? I mean, are you having a fireplace there or not?
We've had to have the fireplace removed in what was the dining room, because that's going to be the kitchen, so it's going to have fitted units either side. What they're doing in the room below me is that'll be a study, but there's kind of, the fireplace comes out at a bizarre angle and sort of chops the room off a bit, so that they're flattening that one. We've got a lovely fireplace still in the front in their living room and in their bedroom, so we're not losing fireplaces completely.
No.
It's just very bizarre feeling the floor move. Strange.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. So yeah.
Well, I do love the idea of your waterfall in your garden, though. That the idea of having a waterfall in the garden is just moving water. There's something very special, very magical about that, isn't there?
It is totally special, and I think it's totally amazing. Have you seen it? Shall I try and find the? No.
I did see it. Do you put a picture on your Facebook page?
Yeah, I've had pictures and videos.
Something.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was the video I saw.
Well, the video is the best bit because you actually get to sort of like see it and hear it, kind of thing. Yeah, which is nice. Let's see if it's around.
We are hoping to get some kind of water feature in our garden once everything's done, but it won't be nearly as impressive as your waterfall. I think water is just magical anyway, isn't it? But to have moving water takes it to another level.
Is quite something. And of course, can I find the dancing? Can I help? It might be in there. It might be in there. That's always a possibility.
Eric's hiding under my chair. I don't think he likes the noise.
Well, I don't think he likes it at all. I'm quite sure he doesn't.
He's made friends with the builders, though, so he's quite happy about that.
Well, that's all right then. No, I can't find it, but it's on my Facebook page. There's several on my Facebook page in various stages if you want to see. But it was fantastic doing it because it was just me and my girlfriend Kim, and there's one huge great stone which is the base of the bottom step of the waterfall, and another slightly smaller one, and so we cornered her friend's daughter. So this is a all woman job, this waterfall. And it's terrible because Kim and I are sort of weak and middle-aged to elderly kind of thing. And Katie's about 40. And so she just goes, oh, yeah, let's get it on the truck, the sack truck. Whoa, whoa, and you go. And then we sort of thought, well, you could take it round this way. No, I'll get it up those steps because there's 2 steps between the front and the back. And we was like, we'll just stand here and gulp, And she got it around there, and then she was like heaving it. And I was sort of really worried because you know how it is when you're setting something up, like the furniture or garden or whatever, and you're sort of saying, left hand down 1/2 inch.
Yeah, left a bit, right a bit. No.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
And I was sort of like, well, what can I tolerate? Because I can't ask this woman to be heaving it around. But she told me to. She said, no, that's not right, is it? You need another 1/2. Is that too much? It's like, shit. She's lovely. But it was really interesting doing it because it's sort of like making magic and spells again, because we got all the stone which had been left in the garden. So, it was really nice because it's all like recycling stuff that was already there. Yeah. And so I was sort of saying, well, we need a stone for there because that's got to go in there and that. And so you're sort of going up. Now, which one is it? Which of you wants to be in there? And we were literally doing that. And people would sort of think they're nuts, but it worked. And it meant we didn't have to pull it apart. That was the wrong one, sort of thing. I mean, obviously we did a couple of times, when we'd thought something and the other stone was sitting there saying, I said it was me, loudly. And
listen.
Sorry, okay, here we go. But it was really like magical, like the waterfall spirit was there telling us.
Excellent.
So when you do yours next year, do tell us about it, because I'm sure it'll be the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it won't be quite as grand as yours. So your garden's much bigger than mine.
Well, it is, but it's
yeah,
not. It's not a huge waterfall, even so. But I mean, it'll be different because your garden's in a different place and everything.
Yeah,
So it'd be
moving
really
water.
nice.
I think moving water for the energy of it, but it's also useful for the wildlife as well, isn't it? I would imagine there's all sorts of things that are going to visit.
Well, we found immediately as we because we did all the pipe and the pond and the pump and everything like that. Oh, my husband is not quite all woman, because my husband got involved in fixing the pipe to there's a something. You need a something that builds up and then a spillway for the water to come out. And he said, "Oh, I'll do that." And so he sort of got together with glue and, you know, saws and screws and Christ knows what. But we got it set up, and we were like testing, is that the right place? So you turn it on, and immediately, I mean, there was a sparrow, 2 goldfinches, and a few blue tits, like that. And because we were round the other side watching, and all of a sudden there was like, you know, birds everywhere, and there was, and all the time whenever we're going out there working, there's a robin, and he comes around, and you know, he's quality control. He's saying, "No, that should be there. That's nice. Yeah. When are you going to put this in?" It really is like that. They love it, and of course we've got dragonflies, which is gorgeous, and lots of other little insects and bugs and such like things. Oh, and we've got 2 frogs.
Yeah,
which is very nice.
Oh, brilliant. I do love frogs. Yeah,
I
brilliant.
do.
Brilliant.
It sounds like we've got one big one and one small one, but I haven't actually seen them both together to see if one is bigger than the other. I've seen them, but I can't tell frogs apart usually. And but there's one which has a rabbit, you know, sort of really deep noise, and the other goes rabbit, which is a bit higher. And they apparently sit on each side of the pond. So you absolutely know there's 2, because, you know, you get stereo.
Excellent. No,
I'm hoping we get frog spawn next year, so that'd be really fun.
Yeah. I think Eric might eat the frog spawn, but I don't know. He doesn't like going near water, so I'm hoping he'll leave it alone.
It's probably safe then. Yeah.
He steps round puddles, so I'm hoping that he'll ignore the water feature. He's a rubbish dog.
He'll sort of sit and look at it going.
Yes, he probably will.
Yeah. It's funny how some dogs really dislike water, and they're ones you wouldn't necessarily think would mind.
No, he's really funny with it. It's just a princess.
Well, Fiona had a Jack Russell a few years back. He unfortunately got killed very tragically, but and you know, a Jack Russell's full of mud, chasing everything in the fields, up the hedges, all that sort of thing. He'd do all of that, come to a stream, it'd be like
clean water. He didn't like clean water.
And it's like, come on, try it. You know, we did get him to just about do it, but it was sort of like his eyes shut. And I never have thought that he would have minded, but he did. A current one doesn't give a monkeys one way or the other. It's sort of, I'll be in whatever it is. But so I feel for Eric, because if he doesn't like it, it's not funny, actually.
Yeah, no, doesn't like water, doesn't like mud. He's funny going out in the garden at the moment. The builders have put a plank down the garden for him so that he doesn't have to walk on the mud. Because he wouldn't go out there.
Oh, poor soul. But he'll walk his plank, will he?
He does walk the plank, yeah.
Where's your dog? Walking the plank, it's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to get him a pirate's hat then.
I think it's good of the builders really to accommodate him, bless them.
And sometimes workmen are really good like that, though.
They've been brilliant. They couldn't have been any better. They are polite. They work a full day. They work very hard. Yeah, they don't eat. They don't. They're on site from 8 till 5 generally. Wash their own tea mugs at the end of the day. No, they're absolutely brilliant.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
because it is.
superstars.
Sorry about this, builders out there, but generally we go, oh God, builders.
Well, yes, because you hear so many horror stories, don't you? And we didn't really know what to expect, but they've been absolute superstars.
Yeah.
Can't fault them.
Yeah.
And they put up with Eric barking at them.
Yeah.
As soon as they come in the door, he barks, and you hear it cries, "Morning, Eric."
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
that is ever so good.
They're brilliant.
No, I'm glad all that side of it is really working out.
Yep.
Because it's horrible chaos and all that sort of thing.
It is, but it will be worth it. And as I say, it's a lesson for me. It's a challenge that I'm trying to embrace.
Well, sounds like you're succeeding, so it's okay.
At the moment. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. There you go. So,
oh my God!
Yes, I think we should wrap it up. Because it's going to get louder, I think.
We can't compete with that.
So I will say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
And catch up with you next time.
We will.
Care.
Take care then, love.